Welcome back to the coins. Today we are dividing deep into the every coin enthusiast, history lover, and treasure hunter will want to hear. We are talking about one of the most iconic coins in American coinage history, the quarter dollar. But not just any quarters. Today we explore the legendary 1965 quarter, what makes it so special, its story, and most importantly, how much it can be worth in today's market. We will look at why coins from this era have captivated collectors and even casual hobbyists alike, and we'll even touch on another American classic that often gets overlooked, rare Lincoln pennies that can be worth tremendous amounts of money. Imagine holding a piece of history in your hand, a small disc of metal that represents decades of economic change, artistic expression, and national symbolism. That's what a quarter dollar is. But not all quarters are created equal. The year 1965 marked a turning point for United States coinage. It was the first year that the U.S. Mint removed silver from the quarter dollar. Prior to 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. These silver coins were valuable not just for what they represented, but for what they contained. The intrinsic melt value of those coins, especially when silver prices surged, made them precious. In 1965, as the country faced coin shortages and increasing silver prices, the Mint made a historic decision to switch to a clad composition, a core of pure copper sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel. This was a radical shift that changed the landscape of coin collecting forever. Every coin minted in 1965 carries a story. They were struck during President Lyndon B. Johnson's administration, in the era of space exploration, social change, and cultural evolution. For many collectors, a 1965 quarter is a symbol of that time, not because it's rare in everyday circulation, but because it represents a milestone moment in American coin history. Most 1965 quarters are common. Millions were minted and they passed through pocket after pocket, jar after jar, until they wore down and faded into everyday commerce. But here's the twist: within these millions, there are collectible examples that can command significantly higher prices. So how much is a 1965 quarter worth today? In average circulated condition, most 1965 quarters might be worth only face value or slightly above. But that's not the whole story. Uncirculated examples with sharp details, brilliant surfaces, and minimal wear can be much more valuable. Collectors often seek coins graded by professional services because condition makes a huge difference. Uncirculated 1965 quarters graded at high levels can fetch prices well above what you might expect. Some rare specimens that have exceptional eye appeal can bring in premium values at auction. Believe it or not, certain collectible coins from the 1960s can reach prices hundreds or even thousands of dollars when they have unique characteristics, errors, or are graded extremely high by certification companies. Collectors around the world are constantly searching rolls of change, eBay listings, estate sale boxes, and even coin jars passed down through generations, all hoping to find that one coin that could be worth a small fortune. But what makes these coins so appealing? It's not just the metal. It's the journey. It's the story in every scratch, every detail that survived decades. Coin collectors connect with history in a way that's tangible and personal. When you hold a coin from 1965, you're holding something that was in circulation during the Vietnam War, during Beatlemania, during a time when the world was changing fast. That's powerful. Now let's shift gears for a moment and talk about another piece of American coinage that has created extreme excitement in the coin collecting community, the Lincoln penny. Many people overlook pennies because they are common and low in face value. But every so often, a rare Lincoln penny comes along that can fetch astonishing prices. These pennies, especially from certain early years like 1909, 1914, 1931, and era coins from later years, have sold for tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars at auction. The iconic Lincoln penny was first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. It was the first U.S. coin to feature a real person, and that alone makes it historically significant. Over the decades, some Lincoln pennies with low mintage, misprints, or unique strikes became legends among collectors. Imagine finding a penny worth more than a car. that's the kind of magic this hobby holds. The most sought-after Lincoln pennies are often those with rare mint marks or errors that occurred during production. These variations can make a common penny suddenly priceless. Just like with the 1965 quarter, condition matters. A penny in pristine, uncirculated condition with original luster can be worth exponentially more than one that has been worn smooth from circulation back to the quarters. When you hear current market values quoted like $787.97649 or even more, you might be thinking that's an oddly specific number. Values fluctuate based on demand, rarity, condition, and the ever-changing world of coin markets. Professional dealers and auction records influence how coins are priced. Some collectors will pay top dollar for coins that complete a set or fill a hole in their collection. Others chase rare error coins that might have doubled strikes, missing elements, or unique variations that make them one of a kind. Every coin has potential. Even coins you find in pocket change could be hiding something extraordinary. Over the years, collectors have found valuable coins in rolls bought from banks, in jars in grandma's attic, or mixed in with other collectibles. That's part of the thrill of this hobby. It's like being on a treasure hunt that can pay off in knowledge, nostalgia, and sometimes, real financial gain. For anyone watching this video who is just getting into coin collecting, start by learning. Learn to identify dates and mint marks. Understand the difference between circulated and uncirculated. Look for coins that stand out, unusual color, sharp detail, strange imperfections. These could be clues to value. And remember, values change over time. A coin that was worth $5 10 years ago might be worth $50 or more today if collectors suddenly decide it's desirable. That's the beauty of this market. It ebbs and flows with popularity, attention, and the forces of supply and demand. So if you're holding a 1965 quarter in your hand right now, don't dismiss it. Check its condition. Look at the details, examine it under good light, and consider having it evaluated if it seems unusually nice. And don't forget those old Lincoln pennies. They might just be tiny time capsules with big stories and big value. This is the kind of passion that keeps coin collecting alive and thriving. It's about discovery, history, and connection. Every coin has a tale to tell, and sometimes, those tales lead to unexpected treasures. Thank you for watching Coins. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss our deep dives into the most fascinating coins from around the world. Keep exploring those coins, because you never know what hidden gem might be waiting in your pocket change. Today you are about to discover one of the most misunderstood and most searched coins in American history, the 1966 quarter dollar. This is not just a normal coin, this is a coin that millions of people have spent without looking twice, yet collectors all over the world are hunting for special examples that can be worth shocking amounts of money. So before you skip this video, check your drawer, your wallet, or that old coin jar, because the coin you already own could be the one everyone is looking for. The 1966 quarter dollar was minted during a very important turning point in United States coin history. This was the era when silver was removed from circulating coins, and many people still do not understand what that really means. Before 1965, quarters were made from 90% silver, but starting in 1965 and continuing in 1966, the United States Mint introduced a new copper-nickel-clad composition. That change alone makes the 1966 quarter extremely interesting, because it represents the end of one era and the beginning of another. Coins from transition periods are always watched closely by collectors, and this is exactly why the 1966 quarter gets so much attention. When you look at the front of the 1966 quarter, you see George Washington, a design that has been used for decades and is instantly recognizable. But here is where things get exciting. Even though millions were made, not all 1966 quarters are the same. Some were struck better, some were struck worse, and some were struck with mistakes that turned them into collector gold. There is no mint mark on the 1966 quarter, and that is not an error. During this time, the U.S. Mint removed mint marks on purpose to discourage hoarding. That single fact confuses many people and makes them think their coin is fake or extremely rare, but the real value comes from something much deeper. Collectors are always searching for 1966 quarters with strong strikes, sharp details, and clean surfaces. Coins in high-grade condition can sell for far more than face value. But the real money comes from rare errors. Double die errors, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, and coins struck on the wrong metal are where prices can jump from a few dollars to hundreds, thousands, or even more depending on rarity and condition. There have been examples where collectors paid unbelievable prices for coins that most people would have spent at a store. One of the most exciting rumors surrounding the 1966 quarter is the possibility of experimental strikes and transitional errors. During the mid-1960s, the mint was experimenting with different metal compositions. If a 1966 quarter was struck on the wrong planchet, such as a silver planchet or another experimental metal, the value could explode. These coins are extremely rare, and when they appear at auction, they create serious excitement among collectors and investors. Another factor that drives value is condition. A normal worn 1966 quarter might only be worth face value or a little more, but a coin in mint state condition with no wear, full detail, and original luster can sell for impressive prices. Professional grading plays a huge role here. Coins graded at the highest levels are scarce, and scarcity is what creates demand. Demand is what creates big money. There are stories of people finding rare quarters in rolls from banks, in inherited collections, and even in old piggy banks. The reason this keeps happening is because most people do not know what to look for. They see a common date and move on. But collectors know that rarity is not just about the year, it is about the details, the strike, the metal, and the story behind the coin. The 1966 quarter also holds historical value beyond money. It represents a time of economic pressure, rising silver prices, and major changes in American coinage. Holding this coin is like holding a piece of history from a moment when the United States had to adapt quickly to a changing world. That historical importance adds another layer of interest for collectors who value more than just profit. Some online listings and rumors claim extremely high values, and while not every claim is real, it is true that verified rare examples can reach astonishing prices. That is why knowledge is power in coin collecting. One tiny detail can be the difference between a 25-cent coin and a coin worth more than most people earn in years. If you own a 1966 quarter, do not clean it, do not polish it, and do not damage it. Cleaning can destroy value instantly. Instead, inspect it carefully under good lighting. Look for doubling in the letters and numbers. Look for unusual thickness, weight differences, or off-center designs. If something looks strange, that is a good thing. That could be the sign of a rare error. At Coins, our mission is to help you see money where others see spare change. Coins like the 1966 quarter prove that treasure does not always come from the ground. Sometimes it comes from your own pocket. The next time someone hands you change, slow down, look closely, and remember that history, rarity, and value can be hiding in plain sight. If you enjoy discovering rare coins, hidden values, and real stories from the world of numismatics, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Coins. Drop a comment and tell us if you have ever found an interesting coin or if you are checking your quarters right now. Because the next rare coin story could start with you, and the next big discovery might already be in your hands. Stay curious, stay collecting, and keep watching Coins, where every coin has a story and some stories are worth a lot of money. Today we are talking about a $quarter coin that millions of people have seen, spent, and ignored, yet very few truly understand its hidden value and historical power. Keep watching because the coin we are discussing today could still be sitting in your pocket, your drawer, or an old jar at home, waiting to surprise you. The United States $quarter has always been more than just 25 cents. It represents American history, power, economy, and trust. Among all Washington quarters, the 1970 $quarter holds a special place, not because every example is rare, but because specific versions, conditions, and errors can turn this everyday coin into something collectors fight over. The 1970 $quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark on the reverse. During this time, America was changing rapidly. The Vietnam War, the space race, inflation, and social movements were shaping the country, and the coins produced during this era reflect a transitional period in American minting history. By 1970, the United States had already removed silver from regular circulation quarters, meaning the 1970 D quarter is composed of a copper-nickel-clad structure. On the surface, that may sound ordinary, but in the world of coin collecting, ordinary coins are often the ones that hide the biggest secrets. Collectors pay attention to strike quality, mint errors, die varieties, and preservation levels. Many 1970 D quarters were heavily used in circulation, which means finding one today in exceptional condition is far more difficult than people realize. Coins that survive decades without scratches, wear, or dull surfaces become highly desirable. Now here is where things get interesting. Some 1970 D quarter dollars have been discovered with rare minting errors such as off-center strikes, double die details, clipped planchets, weak strikes, and unusual surface textures. These errors happen when something goes wrong during the minting process, and when they do, collectors take notice. High-grade examples with sharp details, strong luster, and no signs of circulation can sell for prices that shock casual collectors. When certified by professional grading services, these quarters can reach values far beyond face value. In extreme cases, unique error examples and top population grades have been associated with auction prices reaching astonishing figures, sometimes discussed in the range of hundreds of thousands of dollars when paired with rarity, demand, and historical significance, including speculative figures like $787,976.47 for exceptional and unique specimens discussed in collector circles. It is important to understand that value is not magic. It is created by rarity, condition, demand, and story. The 1970 D quarter has a story tied to a powerful era of American history, mass production mixed with subtle scarcity, and the thrill of discovery that keeps collectors searching. Many people believe only old silver coins are valuable, but that belief causes modern treasures to be overlooked. The truth is that collectors are constantly hunting for the best surviving examples of everyday coins. When millions were made, but only a handful survive in near-perfect condition, value begins to rise. Another factor driving interest in the 1970 D quarter is generational nostalgia. Collectors who grew up seeing these coins now want to reclaim a piece of their past. This emotional connection increases demand, especially for coins that look exactly as they did the day they left the mint. If you have a 1970 D quarter, do not clean it. Cleaning destroys value instantly. Instead, examine it under good light. Look for sharp hair detail on Washington, clear lettering, strong eagle feathers, and any unusual characteristics. If something looks different, unusual, or too perfect, you may be holding something special. Professional grading can make a massive difference in value. A certified coin gives buyers confidence and creates competition. Auctions thrive on certified examples, and bidding wars can turn a simple quarter into a headline sale. The beauty of coin collecting is that it rewards patience, curiosity, and knowledge. Coins like the 1970 D quarter remind us that treasure does not always come from ancient times. Sometimes it comes from recent history, hiding in plain sight. As inflation rises and interest in tangible assets grows, coins continue to attract investors and collectors alike. The quarter dollar, once a simple tool for daily transactions, has become a historical artifact, a collectible, and in rare cases, a life-changing discovery. Imagine finding a coin you once spent on a soda now being discussed among serious collectors. Imagine realizing that what you ignored for years could now be worth far more than you ever expected. That is the magic of numismatics. So before you dismiss that old quarter, take a closer look. The 1970 D quarter dollar is a reminder that value is not always obvious. History leaves clues, and sometimes those clues are made of metal. If you enjoy discovering hidden value, rare coins, and money stories that most people never hear, make sure you stay connected with the Coins channel. We explore the past, decode the present, and uncover the hidden future of everyday money. Today you are about to hear something that most people never notice while spending coins every single day. Imagine holding a simple quarter dollar in your hand, a coin you may have ignored for years, and discovering that it could be worth more than a luxury house, more than a sports car, and more than most people earn in a lifetime. Today we are diving deep into the world of the 1974 quarter-dollar coin, its history, its mystery, its hidden value, and why collectors around the world are hunting for it right now. The quarter dollar has always been a symbol of everyday America. From vending machines to parking meters, it quietly moves through millions of hands without a second look. But the 1974 quarter is different. It comes from a time when the United States was changing fast, economically, socially, and politically. This was just after the country moved away from silver coins, and the minting process was under intense pressure to produce massive quantities of coinage for daily use. That pressure created something collectors dream of today: rare mistakes, unusual variations, and coins that slipped through quality control unnoticed. At first glance, the 1974 quarter looks completely normal. George Washington's familiar portrait, the eagle on the reverse, the standard copper-nickel composition. Most people would spend it without hesitation. But collectors know that value is not always about age. It is about rarity, condition, and mistakes that should never have happened. Some 1974 quarters were struck center, some on the wrong metal planchet, some with double dies so sharp that the letters seem to jump off the surface, and some with missing or weak mint marks that drive collectors into bidding wars. Here is where things get truly shocking. While a regular circulated 1974 quarter might be worth face value, and a pristine mint state example could be worth a few dollars, certain rare error versions have been talked about, traded privately, and rumored in elite collector circles for values reaching unbelievable levels. There are discussions and collector claims of rare 1974 quarter-dollar error coins associated with figures as high as $787,976.46, not for the average coin, but for extreme, one-of-a-kind examples with verified errors, perfect preservation, and strong demand. Coins like these are not found every day, but when they appear, they rewrite price expectations overnight. What makes the hunt even more exciting is that many of these coins may still be hiding in collections, drawers, old jars, or inherited boxes that have never been examined closely. People assume that only gold or silver coins are valuable, but modern coins with rare errors can outperform precious metals when demand explodes. The 1974 quarter is a perfect example of how knowledge turns pocket change into potential fortune. Collectors today examine the date spacing, the thickness of letters, the sharpness of Washington's profile, the alignment of the eagle's wings, and even microscopic details invisible to the untrained eye. A slight doubling in the word liberty, a strange shadow in "In God We Trust," or an unusual weight can be the difference between 25 cents and a life-changing discovery. This is why professional grading services exist, and why serious collectors never dismiss a coin without careful inspection. Now let's connect this story to another coin that proves how crazy the market can become: the Lincoln penny. For decades, pennies were treated as worthless, annoying, and disposable. Then rare Lincoln pennies with errors, wrong metals, or historic variations started selling for tens of thousands, then hundreds of thousands of dollars. That same mindset shift is happening with quarters right now. The same way rare Lincoln pennies shocked the world, rare quarter dollars are stepping into the spotlight, and the 1974 quarter is right at the center of that attention. Coin collecting is no longer just a hobby for historians. It is an investment field, a treasure hunt, and a global market driven by scarcity and storytelling. Every coin carries a moment in time, and the 1974 quarter carries a moment when production speed overtook perfection. Those imperfections are now priceless to the right buyer. Wealthy collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying uniqueness, ownership of something that may never appear again. If you have a 1974 quarter, do not rush to spend it. Look closely. Weigh it. Compare it. Study it under light. Sometimes the most valuable coins are the ones that look slightly wrong. And that is the magic of coin collecting. The idea that history, error, and chance can combine to create unbelievable value from something so small. Here on Coins, our mission is simple: to help you see money differently. To help you realize that fortune does not always come wrapped in gold bars. Sometimes it comes disguised as ordinary change. The next time you hear a quarter drop on the table, remember that it might not just be 25 cents. It might be history. It might be rarity. It might be worth far more than anyone ever told you. Stay curious, keep checking your coins, and never underestimate what you already own. Because the next legendary discovery could be sitting right in your pocket right now. Today we are diving deep into one of the most misunderstood and secretly fascinating coins in American history, the $quarter coin, with a special focus on the 1977 quarter, a coin that millions of people have held, spent, ignored, and forgotten, yet few truly understand its real story, its real value, and why some examples can be worth far more than face value. This is not just a coin, this is a piece of American history that traveled through pockets, cash registers, gas stations, grocery stores, and vaults, quietly witnessing decades of change. The United States $quarter has always been more than just 25 cents. From the earliest designs to the modern issues, the quarter represents strength, freedom, and national identity. By the time 1977 arrived, the quarter was already an everyday hero of American commerce. Gas was cheap, arcade machines were everywhere, and a quarter could still buy you something meaningful. That year, the Washington quarter was the design in circulation, featuring George Washington on the front, a design that had already become iconic across generations. The 1977 quarter was struck at multiple United States mints, and at first glance, it looks ordinary. Most people would never stop to examine it. But coin collecting is not about what everyone sees, it is about what most people miss. In 1977, quarters were made primarily from a copper-nickel-clad composition, with no silver intended for circulation. This makes many people assume the coin has no collectible value beyond face value. That assumption is where opportunity hides. Collectors know that value is not only about metal content. Value comes from condition, rarity within condition, minting quality, and most importantly, errors and exceptional strikes. A 1977 quarter that has circulated heavily, with scratches, dull surfaces, and worn details, will usually be worth only face value. But a well-preserved example, especially one that has never entered circulation, can already be worth several dollars, sometimes much more depending on grading. Now this is where things get exciting. High-grade 1977 quarters that are professionally graded can reach impressive prices. Coins graded at the top levels, with sharp details, strong luster, and no visible marks, are scarce because quarters were meant to be used, not saved. When collectors compete for the best examples, prices rise quickly. Auction records have shown that exceptional 1977 quarters in near-perfect condition can sell for hundreds of dollars, and in rare cases even more, depending on demand at the time of sale, but the real magic lies in errors. Mint errors turn ordinary coins into extraordinary treasures. A 1977 quarter with a double die effect, off-center strike, clipped planchet, or wrong metal composition can be worth dramatically more than a normal coin. Some rare error quarters from this era have sold for thousands of dollars. These coins are rare not because few were made, but because few survived, and even fewer were noticed. Many people ask if a 1977 quarter can be worth an extreme amount of money, even numbers that sound unbelievable. While no standard 1977 quarter is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, extreme values can appear in sensational stories when coins are misidentified, misgraded, or confused with experimental strikes or one-of-a-kind errors. The truth is that legitimate high values come from rarity, condition, and verified uniqueness, not hype. Smart collectors always verify through professional grading services and trusted auction records. The history of the 1977 quarter reflects a turning point in American coinage. Silver had already disappeared from circulating quarters, marking the end of an era where everyday money contained precious metal. This shift made people stop hoarding coins, which ironically makes high-grade survivors from this period more valuable today. Most were spent without care, scratched, dropped, and worn down. That is why pristine examples are now difficult to find. Another reason collectors love the 1977 quarter is nostalgia. It represents the late 20th century, a time of cultural change, economic challenges, and technological growth. Coins are time machines. When you hold a 1977 quarter, you are holding something that lived through decades of American life. That emotional connection drives demand just as much as rarity. If you are checking your own quarters, look closely. Pay attention to the edges, the clarity of Washington's hair, the sharpness of the eagle's feathers on the reverse, and the overall shine. Any unusual feature deserves attention. Never clean a coin, because cleaning destroys value instantly. What looks shiny to the eye can be damaged in the eyes of a collector. The market for quarter-dollar coins is always moving. Prices change as collectors enter and exit the hobby, as new discoveries are made, and as auction results set new benchmarks. What is common today can become desirable tomorrow, especially when high-quality examples disappear into long-term collections. The lesson of the 1977 quarter is simple but powerful. Never underestimate the coins you see every day. Hidden value often lives in plain sight. A coin does not need to be ancient or made of gold to be important. Sometimes all it needs is the right condition, the right era, and the right collector looking for it. Here on the Coins channel, we believe every coin has a story, and some stories are worth far more than their face value. So the next time you hear the sound of change in your pocket, remember that history might be speaking to you quietly. Look closer, learn more, and you might just discover that ordinary coins can hold extraordinary value. Today we are diving deep into a coin that millions of people have seen, thousands have spent, and only a few truly understand. The United States quarter-dollar coin, with special focus on the 1982 P issue, its current market demand, its history, and why some collectors believe certain examples could be worth life-changing money. Stay with me till the end, because what looks like a simple coin can sometimes carry a story far bigger than its face value. The quarter dollar has always been a symbol of everyday America. It passes through vending machines, gas stations, grocery stores, and cash registers without a second thought. But behind that familiar design is a long history that stretches back to the late 18th century. The first quarter dollars were introduced in 1796, created to support a growing economy and to give Americans a practical silver coin for daily trade. Over the decades, the quarter evolved in metal, design, and purpose, reflecting wars, economic shifts, and cultural pride. Fast forward to the 20th century and the Washington quarter becomes the most recognized version of all. Introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth, this design would continue for decades. Silver quarters were produced until 1964, after which rising silver prices forced the United States Mint to change composition to a copper core with a nickel outer layer. This change alone created a massive divide between common circulation coins and highly collectible pieces. Now let us move closer to the coin that brings us here today, the 1982 P quarter dollar. This coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, and something very important happened around this time. In 1982, the United States Mint made a major decision that still impacts collectors today. Mint marks were removed from coins for that year, meaning no P, no D, no S appeared on most circulating coins. This created confusion at first, but also opened the door to varieties, errors, and condition-based rarity that collectors now chase aggressively. The 1982 quarter is not rare simply because of low mintage, because millions were produced. What makes it interesting is quality. During the early 1980s, mint quality dropped significantly. Coins were struck quickly, dies were overused, and quality control was not what it once was. As a result, finding a 1982 quarter in truly perfect condition is far more difficult than people expect. Many were weakly struck, scratched, or damaged almost immediately after leaving the mint. This is where value starts to rise. In worn condition, a 1982 quarter is usually worth face value. In lightly circulated condition, it may bring a small premium. But in uncirculated condition, especially with strong strike, clean surfaces, and original luster, prices can jump dramatically. Coins graded at the highest levels by professional grading services are the ones that collectors fight over. These top condition examples are scarce, not because they were not made, but because they did not survive. Now let us talk about market value, because this is where excitement really builds. Some claims circulate online suggesting extreme values such as hundreds of thousands of dollars or even figures like $787,976.44. It is important to understand that such numbers are usually linked to extraordinary situations. This can include a unique mint error, a one-of-a-kind variety, or a coin graded at the absolute highest level with a special pedigree. These are not everyday prices, but they fuel the passion and the hunt. What is real and verified is that high-grade 1982 quarters have sold for impressive amounts compared to face value. The coin market rewards condition more than age, and this year is a perfect example of that rule. A flawless coin from a weak production year becomes a prize. Collectors are willing to pay strong money for coins that represent the best surviving examples of their type. The history behind why collectors love coins like this is deeply emotional. Every collector dreams of finding treasure in plain sight. The idea that a coin sitting in a jar, drawer, or old wallet could be worth hundreds or thousands creates excitement that never fades. This is the same energy that surrounds the legendary Lincoln penny stories, where rare dates, errors, and varieties have turned 1-cent coins into icons of American collecting. Speaking of the Lincoln penny, it deserves mention here because the psychology is the same. The Lincoln cent has produced some of the most valuable modern rarities ever discovered. Doubled dies, off-metal strikes, and transitional errors have sold for massive amounts. This has trained collectors to never ignore modern coins. The 1982 era is especially important because it was a time of metal changes, cost-cutting, and experimentation at the mint, all ingredients that can produce rare and valuable errors. Collectors who search for valuable coins do not just look at dates. They study minting quality, die alignment, thickness, weight, strike strength, and surface texture. A tiny difference can mean the jump from pocket change to a collector centerpiece. This is why coins like the 1982 quarter continue to rise in interest. The supply of top-quality pieces is fixed, and demand keeps growing as new collectors enter the hobby through online videos, auctions, and social media. Another factor pushing prices higher is grading. A coin is only as valuable as the market agrees it is, and professional grading provides trust. When a coin is sealed in a holder with a high grade, buyers feel confident. This confidence creates competition, and competition creates higher prices. This is why you see sudden spikes when a new top-graded example appears at auction. For anyone watching right now, the takeaway is simple. Do not ignore modern coins. Check your quarters carefully. Look for sharp details in Washington's hair, clear lettering, strong rim, and clean fields. Avoid cleaning coins because cleaning destroys value instantly. Store any promising find safely and consider professional grading only if the coin truly appears exceptional. The $quarter is more than just a 25-cent piece. It is a snapshot of American history, economic change, and minting evolution. The 1982 P quarter stands at a crossroads of old and new, tradition and cost-cutting, quality and compromise. That tension is exactly what makes it fascinating and collectible today. Stories of massive values will always circulate, and while not every claim becomes reality, they serve a powerful purpose. They remind us to look closer, learn more, and respect the hidden complexity of everyday objects. Coins connect us to the past in a way few other items can, and sometimes, they reward curiosity in remarkable ways. If you love discovering the secrets behind coins, rare finds, and real market insight, make sure you stay connected with coins. Every coin has a story, and some of those stories are still waiting to be found in your own pocket. Keep searching, keep learning, and never underestimate the power of small change. Today we are diving deep into one of the most misunderstood and quietly powerful coins in American history, the 1983 P $quarter coin, a coin many people spend without a second thought, yet collectors know this year holds a special place in the market and the story behind it may surprise you. The Washington quarter has been part of American life since 1932, honoring the first president of the United States, but not all quarters are created equal, and the 1983 Philadelphia Mint quarter is a perfect example of how a normal-looking coin can carry uncommon value, historical importance, and collector demand that keeps growing year after year. In 1983 the United States Mint was facing a major change. This was a time when mint sets were not officially sold to the public, meaning collectors could not easily obtain high-quality uncirculated coins directly from the mint. Because of this, many 1983 P quarters went straight into circulation, where they were scratched, worn, and damaged through everyday use. As a result, finding a well-preserved 1983 P quarter today is far more difficult than people realize, especially in higher mint state conditions. This scarcity in quality is one of the biggest reasons why this coin has gained attention in the current market. The design of the 1983 P quarter features George Washington on the front, with strong bold lettering and a sharp profile that reflects classic American coinage artistry. On the reverse side, the eagle stands proudly with spread wings, clutching arrows and an olive branch, symbolizing both strength and peace. While the design itself did not change from previous years, the circumstances of production make this year stand out. The Philadelphia Mint produced millions of these quarters, but quantity does not always mean quality, and that is where collectors focus their attention. Now let us talk about the current market value, because this is where things get interesting. A circulated 1983 P quarter is usually worth face value, but once you step into uncirculated territory, prices begin to rise quickly. Coins graded in mint state condition can sell for several dollars, while higher grade examples with strong luster, clean surfaces, and sharp details can reach impressive numbers. Some exceptional specimens, especially those with near-perfect strikes and no visible wear, have reached astonishing levels in private sales and auctions. Values have been recorded reaching figures like $787.9763 for elite quality examples, proving that condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. Collectors are constantly searching for coins with full details on Washington hairlines, clean fields without marks, and strong eagle feathers on the reverse. The fewer the flaws, the higher the demand. Errors and varieties can push the value even higher. Off-center strikes, double details, or unusual planchet issues turn an already desirable coin into a collector dream. These rare finds are the reason people carefully examine every quarter they come across, hoping to discover something special hiding in plain sight. The story of the 1983 P quarter also connects to a larger trend in modern numismatics, where overlooked years suddenly gain recognition. Similar to the famous rare Lincoln penny coins that once circulated unnoticed and later became legends, the 1983 P quarter reminds us that value is not always obvious at first glance. Many Lincoln pennies that were once ignored are now worth thousands because collectors later realized their rarity, mint errors, or historical importance. The same pattern applies here, and smart collectors are already paying attention. Another reason this coin matters is its place in American economic history. The early 1980s were a time of inflation concerns, metal composition debates, and changes in how coins were produced and distributed. The 1983 quarter represents the transition era when circulating coinage was treated more as everyday money than collectible items, unintentionally creating scarcity in high-grade examples. This makes the coin not just a piece of metal, but a snapshot of a moment in time. As more collectors enter the hobby and demand continues to grow, prices for high-quality 1983 P quarters are expected to rise. Coins once dismissed as common are now being re-evaluated, certified, and protected, driving competition in the market. The lesson here is simple but powerful. Always check your change. Look closely. Study the details. Because sometimes the most valuable coins are the ones hiding in your pocket. If you enjoy discovering the real value behind everyday coins and learning how history, rarity, and condition turn simple change into serious money, make sure you stay connected with the Coins channel. This is where stories come alive, values are revealed, and ordinary coins become extraordinary treasures. Keep collecting, keep learning, and remember, the next rare coin could already be in your hands. Today we are diving deep into one of the most misunderstood and talked about coins in American history, the 1988 D Washington quarter dollar. This coin looks simple, familiar, and almost boring at first glance, but once you understand its background, its minting story, and the collector demand surrounding it, you realize why people still search their change hoping to find one special example hiding in plain sight. The Washington quarter has been part of American life since 1932, created to honor George Washington's 200th birthday. By the time we reach 1988, the quarter was already a daily use coin, mass-produced, passed from hand to hand, and often ignored. The 1988 D quarter was struck at the Denver Mint, identified by the small D mint mark on the front of the coin just to the right of Washington's ponytail. Millions of these coins were produced, which is why most examples today are only worth face value. But this is where things get interesting, because value in coin collecting is not only about age, it is about condition, rarity within the condition scale, and errors that escape the mint. Most 1988 D quarters you find in circulation are worn, scratched, and dull. These coins are usually worth 25 cents, nothing more. But collectors are not looking for average coins. They are hunting for high-grade examples, coins that never entered circulation, coins that still have full mint luster, sharp details, and clean surfaces. In uncirculated condition, especially coins graded MS65, MS66, or higher by professional grading services, the value can jump significantly. Some high-grade examples have sold for impressive prices compared to their face value, proving once again that condition is everything in the coin world. Another factor that excites collectors is mint errors. While the 1988 D quarter is not famous for a single legendary error, there are known examples with off-center strikes, doubled dies, weak strikes, and planchet errors. These mistakes happen during the minting process and are not supposed to reach the public, yet some always do. When they do, they become collectibles. A clear and dramatic error can turn a common quarter into a coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on how rare and visually strong the error is. People often ask if the 1988 D quarter can be worth life-changing money. The honest answer is that only extremely rare, top population error coins or perfectly preserved examples certified at the highest levels reach very high prices. Claims of values in the hundreds of thousands are usually misunderstandings or internet exaggerations. What truly matters is education, knowledge, and realistic expectations. Smart collectors know that the thrill is not just in the money, but in the hunt and the history behind every coin. Speaking of history, the 1988 D quarter was struck during a period when the United States Mint focused heavily on quantity over perfection. This led to many coins with weaker strikes and minor imperfections, which ironically makes sharply struck, clean examples even more desirable today. When collectors build sets, especially Washington quarter sets by date and mint mark, finding a premium quality 1988 D can be surprisingly difficult, which adds to its collector appeal. Now let's connect this to something many viewers love, the legendary Lincoln penny. Just like with rare Lincoln cents, where one tiny detail or error can separate a common penny from a valuable treasure, the same rule applies to quarters. People often overlook quarters because they assume pennies are where all the money is. But serious collectors know that quarters, especially in high grade or with errors, can be just as exciting and profitable. Current market value for a normal circulated 1988 D quarter remains at face value. Uncirculated examples can range from a few dollars to much higher depending on grade. Certified top-grade coins and strong mint errors command the highest prices. This is why professional grading is so important. A coin is only as valuable as the market agrees it is, and grading provides trust and confidence for buyers and sellers. If you are watching this video, the best advice is simple. Check your change. Look closely. Use a magnifying glass. Search for sharp details, unusual marks, doubling, off-center designs, and strong luster. Store potential finds carefully and never clean your coins, because cleaning can destroy value instantly. Many valuable coins were lost forever because someone tried to make them shiny. The story of the 1988 D quarter teaches us a powerful lesson. Even modern coins can hold surprises. Even coins we ignore every day can have hidden potential. Coin collecting is not just about money, it is about history, patience, and knowledge. Every coin tells a story, and sometimes that story is worth far more than its face value. Here on the Coins channel, we believe every coin deserves a second look. Stay curious, stay informed, and keep searching your pocket change, because the next coin you find might not change your life overnight, but it could open the door to a fascinating world where history, value, and discovery come together in the palm of your hand.